Camera scene rolling.
Alright.
Sick. I'm Macy Brown. I play the girl in Are You Here?
Yeah.
Let's start with the beginning and just a little bit before. You have some experience with theatrical arts. What did that experience bring to this movie?
My experience with dramatic arts is interesting because I started it in high school. I did drama all throughout high school. I was involved in many plays. I was VP of our club. I was definitely in it, definitely a certified theater kid. And when I got to college, I wanted to continue it, but I didn't have much time between school and work and COVID. And it's something that has always been with me, but I really haven't been able to play with it since starting this movie again. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of jump back into it.
Interesting. And in that experience, I'm sure that you messed around a lot with just dialogue and talking. But in this film, it's honestly quite the opposite. You have one line, and that's, "Hey."
Hey.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure, is that even audible?
Which at this moment is not.
That's awesome.
That's okay. So for all intents and purposes, I have no dialogue in this film, which when I first came into this project and Jake told me, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you auditioned for this, I guess my first thought with this character was, okay, she's not that important, or she is kind of under the radar. She is just a thing that exists in this film, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I was wrong. And I was so wrong. And I quickly realized while I was, jumped into this project that she's very important. And even though there is no dialogue, there is so much emotion and development and change that happens with her character throughout this film, which in many ways that can be a challenge because I couldn't straight up say, okay, I'm mad, or I'm sad, or I'm angry, or I'm happy, or I'm in love, or whatever that is. I had to show that with micro expressions or how my eyes moved. I remember sitting in my kitchen one day and doing multiple shots of a take, and I was like, wait, I liked your eyes went up and down just then. Do that again.
Yeah.
Do that
I remember
again.
that.
And so even to my eyelashes, where my face was, like a clench in my jaw was seen, and that is something that built the character of the girl, which I think is even more powerful than saying it.
How did you find yourself to make these slight changes? How did the team push you to come to these conclusions?
So one really unique thing about this team is that it's a collective effort. And so everyone is watching and everyone is like, wait, that was good. No matter who it is, whether it's Jordi or Kunal or Jake or Rob or Carl, just like, wait, that was good. Wait, did someone see that? And how can I replicate that and then add to it? Or let's play around with this. That's one thing that was really fun. Because there's no dialogue, you kind of get to do different iterations and see where it takes form, which is cool.
So there's a lot of experimentation, even just acting at that specific moment.
Definitely a lot of experimentation. Definitely a lot of, okay, we need to speed this along, which is, is good.
It's interesting. All right, let's round back to the question of how did you end up with just this many roles in the project? I mean, you're taking a role in producing, marketing, acting. How did this happen? How did you handle it?
How did this happen?
How did this happen? That's a question that a lot of people have been asking me lately, and the real answer is...
Because I'm him!
Because I'm him! I don't really know, but I do know that because of my experience in theater, this is something that was super familiar to me, super comfortable for me, and as soon as they called me up and were like, we want you to go further in this, I was like, all right, there's no stopping me. Anything that they brought to me, do you want to help with this? Yes. This is something that has just brought a lot of creativity back to my life, and I have been overjoyed to be a part of it. And every relationship that I've built while creating this film with you, with all of the guys that have worked on this film, it's truly amazing, and I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
Yeah.
How did you meet this group? How did you find Jordi? Because you told us that you first met Jordi just in January, and it's been 3 months.
Yeah. So it's funny. So Carl, my boyfriend, he's our boom. Through Carl, I was able to meet Jake, and I think we hung out maybe a few times for Carl's birthday or whatever it was, mutual friends, and then. What?
Thought I was 30.
I did.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. The first time I met Jake, I was like, this man is at least 26. And then I think the second time we hung out, he was like, no, I'm 21, and also this is I'm a month older than him. That is something that I will never fully process. I remember we actually went on a fall break mountain trip together, and he had brought up to our whole friend group, kind of just throwing it out there, hey, me and my friends are making this film, you should be a part of it. Again, this is something that I was like, oh, I'm a theater kid, I want to do it. And he was like, you should audition. And I remember sitting at, I don't even know what it was. It was like this little inlet of a lake, and Jake is fishing, and me and my friends from school are like laying in the grass, and I was like, Jake, I already know the audition. Like, I already know the lines. And we sat there and like did it back and forth. It was already in my head. And after that, I auditioned, and I kind of met everyone else, but it wasn't until January when I went on the second mountain trip that I become closer with everyone. I remember it was the car back home was me, Jordi, Jake, and Carl were in the back, passed out asleep. It's like 11 p.m., 10 p.m., I don't know, on our way back. And Jordi and I talked about everything under the sun, to the point where we had to work back in our conversation to actually get to what we were trying to talk about.
I don't even remember what we talked about. Honestly, so
I have no idea. I think part of it was going through accents. Part of it was like actually learn. Right. Part of it was actually getting to like know each other as people.
I think I was also interested in your like career path and what you were interested in school and what your interests outside of acting were, because it was just I had never talked about it before, and then you were like, this is a thing, and I was like, what? Okay. And then
I did explain the industry of public relations to Jordi, and I continue to do so as I've been helping with marketing. Yes, exactly. But it's funny because when you work on a project like this, you become best friends with people fast. And so in this room, I've collectively, or in this project, the longest I've known someone is maybe Jake in September. I really only had my first actual conversation with Jordi in January, and I'd consider every one of them my best friends. And these are friendships you don't find a lot. And I think that is one of my favorite parts about this film.
Same. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Fantastic.
Man, I've known people here longer than you have.
No, seriously.